I think Akwatia, by its own history, we all know what Akwatia by elections have been. And therefore, the heavy police presence is just expected. And I don't see deployment of heavy police as an intimidation. They just, if they are there to ensure that there's peace, I don't think that people should be intimidated. However, I must point out that the number of police personnel deployed also does not mean that they are there to do their work. Because we saw it in Ablekuma North. The police were there. They were actually running away from the violence. As civilians were being beaten, the police were running away. They were there. But they didn't do it. They really were actually running away from the thugs who were beating people. So the fact that 5,000 has been deployed, if they decide that if there's violence, they'll run away as they did in Ablekuma, then there will be violence and nothing will happen. Because the people are supposed to make sure that the violence does not happen. If they decide to run away, as we all saw on TV, saw in video, that once people were being attacked and beaten, the option the police chose was to be running away. So the numbers may be there, but if incidents are happening and they will not swiftly intervene, but will rather run away, then the incident, violence will happen, not to happen. I think that these particular elections, there's nothing at stake, to be precise, in terms of the balance of power in Parliament, because the numbers NDC has is way. So whoever wins this seat is not going to tilt the balance of power in Parliament. For that reason, I don't think that the stakes should be that high in this election. But as I said, if you look at by-elections in Akwatia, even general elections in Akwatia, we've had a lot of issues. And therefore, the people of Akwatia should take this as a nice opportunity to send a signal that the past is in the past. They are no longer a people who will engage in violence because of elections. They will go there, make their choice peacefully, and return home. That is what elections are about. Go to the polls, decide which candidate you think you prefer, and go back and sit home. Whoever wins, the nation moves forward. And I believe that the people of Akwatia will take this as a fine opportunity to do that and say, look, if in the past there were violence, we think that from now on there's no violence. Obviously, when you see Akwatia, it's like a swing seat from NDC to MP, back forth. So at the end of the day, the MPP won it as declared by the court and the Electoral Commission, despite the challenge from the NDC. As to whether the NPP can win it again also depends, because right now it is NDC that has the overwhelming majority, and they are the one in government. They are the one that can promise you that we will do this project in your community, and you are likely to have some faith, because it's the NDC that's in charge of natural resources. It's the NDC that determines who gets what, how and where. So at the end of the day, if people are looking at, okay, we think we have problems, which of the two parties is likely to help us in resolving our problems? It's the government of the day. So if people look at it from that point of view and say, okay, let's go for a party we think that they can do something about our challenges, then they may have their options looking at the NDC, thinking that the candidate wins. At least it's his party that is in government. He can easily talk to his fellow colleagues who are appointees if he needs help in other areas. Then this is likely to campaign largely on some of these issues, and if the people listen to them, then possibly they may win, because right they have the resources, they have the numbers in Parliament, they are the one in government. So obviously they have all these advantages to their credit. But if the people also think that in spite of that, they want to sympathize with the late MP, and therefore more people from that point of view decide to say, let's empathize with the MP and give the seat back to the MPP as a way of immortalizing or a memory for the late MP. And then that could also work for the MPP as against the NDC. Many people felt that, but this is the MP, he served less than 6 months, even his tenure in Parliament has been full of legal challenges. It is only 3 weeks ago that he's been cleared that and then the man is even dead, and for that reason, let's go and actually give him that befitting memory and say, then let's go back and give the seat to the MPP to help. And also, the NDC at this point, there are issues because the candidate who stood is no longer the one standing. And his supporters, the day the primaries were held and the results were declared, you will see videos on social media of his supporters saying that they are going to vote for the MPP because they don't see why the person who said he won the seat and for which the NDC supported him to go to court to challenge the results. When there's a by-election, he's now being changed and been replaced by another person, and for which reason they think that they will not go and vote for the NDC. They may say they will vote for NPP, but it's just a talk. But possibly, the worst they can do is they will not go at all. If they are die-hard and they are never going to vote for NPP, but what they can do is to abstain, and then you have apathy. And if the numbers that take that decision become significant, then it will weigh heavily against the NDC. So the options in the elections, they are quite tricky. And see, most of the time we'll do the polls and look, the decisions people make to vote are different. You see, people vote on different reasons and different issues. If you talk to people why they voted for A or B, you'll be surprised. Sometimes you say about why would somebody want to vote on this as an issue? You don't determine what the person should vote on. Once you may think that this should be the main issue somebody should vote on. Somebody will vote on an issue, you think that it's so trivial and small that should not influence the person's decision to vote. But the bottom line is that the choice to vote is the person's own. And the person exercises it how he or she likes. So sometimes we will be analyzing certain factors that we think should influence an election. But in the mind of the voter, maybe sometimes the things we are even talking about, it's not what is influencing them the way they want to vote. So sometimes we do all this analysis thinking that what we are saying is the way they are thinking. But unfortunately, sometimes you realize that all that you are saying to a lot of them who are going to vote in that community is a non-issue to them in the first place. So you can really weigh the options and realize that, okay, the choice is in the hands of the people. And as I said, depending upon what factors people consider, then whoever will win. Because clearly, there was a challenge because even the difference in the vote was not that big. That's why the NDC was thinking that he had won. So if you look at the margins in the 2024 elections, you say that, well, if something affects you small in this election, you could easily lose the seat to the other person. So for me, as I said, there's no balance of power to be tilted in Parliament. That is why the stakes in this election should not be anything high. And that is why the people of Akwatia should take it as an opportunity to send that signal that if in the past we have been experiencing violence, this is the time for us to tell Ghana that Akwatia is a changed constituency, no violence, and everything will go peacefully.